Hey friends, we're back. It's been another week. We're gonna feed the worms. Now, I'm really excited because I've had the windows open for not like open to the wild, but like open to the late. We've had a lot of rainy days lately, so I've been on and off keeping this top layer that we're migrating out kind of opened. But I'm really curious because all three of the active layers got watermelon rinds last week, so I'm really curious to see how they're doing. Before I crack the bins open, I do wanted to show you my setup for this week. I am only going to I'm planning on only feeding the two bigger layers. We'll talk about that later. I have a egg carton I've been meaning to cut up and forgotten. We got a ton of shredded cardboard and paper ready to go. I have some old tea bags that need to get tossed in there. I haven't put any corn grits in, so I want to do that. And then I have paper towels, of course, as needed for covering up, the food like we do. And these are all like this instance where we pre-used it. So I do want to show you guys really quick. Hold on, puppy's coming. Oh, he's just woofing in his sleep. Okay. So this top tier, I've been trying to agitate them as much as I can. Something keeps sprouting despite me agitating it fairly often. Oh, hey, here's a friend. We'll just boop, boop, boop. Ta-da. Okay, we're gonna just push him. Oh, wait, another one. Yeah, this is pretty much what happens every time. I just take whoever I can find and toss them below. Hope for the best. Yeah, something keeps sprouting in here. I don't actually know what it is. But we've gotten, I don't want to say, probably 95% of the worms out. There's still a few, obviously, in here. I was hoping that with me putting the watermelon down below, that might entice them a little bit more. Like this guy, he probably wasn't just born. Like, he looks like a healthy one. So, I don't know. There's only so much I can do. And I've been doing Christmas in July decorating in the house. So I've had the garage, I've been going in and out of the garage a lot. So I'm getting all sorts of mosquitoes and flies and just whatever, because the garage doors are up anyways for the cars and for us coming in and out with the puppies. So there's just a lot of bugs coming in and out, and it's summer in Florida. So mosquitoes, you just got to assume everything's a mosquito pretty much. So I've been a little more hesitant leaving this open. But like I said earlier, I don't need it right now. So if they want to keep working in here, I'm gonna keep trying to pull them out. Hopefully they're not coming up into this layer. Hopefully they're on their way out. But I don't need this. I'm not planting anything in the middle of summer here in Florida. So enough about this one. So like normal, I'm just gonna take the top two tiers off. And then we'll go straight to the bottom tier. We're just going to let these guys sit for a minute. For those of you who've missed any updates, this tier, tier 2, is one that is started without any added coconut core. So it's all cardboard, paper, just that kind of good stuff. So I'm trying not to add coconut core, and I'm just kind of experimenting. So these guys, there's also not a lot of worms on this layer. I just put a few random scoops from other layers in, trying to split up the populations. So I can smell a little bit of, it doesn't smell bad, it just smells a little bit in this layer, which is honestly what I thought, because at the end of the day, this is the bottom tier. Well, besides, this catch-all spot down here. This is the bottom tier, and I just fed a bunch of frozen watermelon to the system, so all the extra moisture dropped down into this tier. So that's why this week I'm planning on not feeding it. I am going to give them random tea bag, just for funsies, and then I am adding in this egg carton to, one, provide kind of like playground for them a little bit, but two, it's going to help, I think, with some of the moisture management, because it is pretty wet as all the water has come down here. And I am going to add just a small, handful of grit. Okay, I think that might have been more than a smaller handful, but it'll be okay. I'm not worried about it. Just to let it get mixed in over time. And then hopefully a smaller handful, there we go, of new fresh bedding. Just because, like I said, there's a lot of bugs coming in and out of the house right now with me going in and out and being Florida life. So I'm trying to be proactive against any fruit flies or gnats or anything. So hopefully this will help counter. Now this is primarily shredded paper bags from, I think mostly Sprouts, I think, in this batch. So yeah, we're not gonna feed them. We're gonna let them just keep working. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff in there for them to break down more. Which brings us to tier 4. Trying to make sure all the paper from the last bin got put in okay. So I'm gonna do kind of the same, but I want to just check and see how we're doing with the watermelon. I can see that the paper that we put in to help absorb the moisture is very much so saturated. So let's see if there's any watermelon left. I doubt there's going to be, because that's a very yeah, this is a very established tier. Okay, they demolished the watermelon, as well they should, you know. So this week we're gonna do something a little crazy. Okay, first off, we're gonna just scoop some of these babies over here. Hello. Trying to make a nice big spot for us. So we're doing a couple things this week. We will, of course, continue adding our random tea bags when it makes sense. And I have, well, here, I'll show you. I have 2 containers, so dates and something that have macaroons in them. Nothing crazy, just I thought I would freeze the food since we've kind of outgrown the toilet paper rolls. I left some for reference to see, like, they were burning through 2 of these, so I'm thinking these containers are kind of like 3 of the toilet paper rolls. But I did put some paper towels, recycled paper towels in there. And my thought is I will dump them, 1 in each tier. We'll do some prep for liquid management since I did freeze them as per normal. So I always try to use up my paper towels first when I can. Oops. And then I'm gonna put just like the tiniest amount of bedding over here. And then I think we're just gonna pop these in. So that's kind of nice because there was just, because I lined it, everything just kind of like slid right out, super easy. But there's all sorts of like fruit and veggies and just usual berries, whatever type stuff in there. I am going to just take some of the existing stuff and just slightly bury it. Yeah, just ever so slightly. And then this week we've been a little bit more reckless with our paper towel usage. So we're gonna cover up with some paper towels in there for sure. And then just keeping up with the health of the bins, we're gonna give them a smaller handful of grit this time and let it just kind of work in. Can't hurt. And it's been a while. And I know somebody, here, I don't know if it was Dee, somebody reminded me in the comments and I was like, oh yeah, I probably should have done that. So thank you for that reminder. I always read them and appreciate them. So that's a lot of moisture in there. There was a lot of moisture on this side from last week. So I am gonna err on the side of too much bedding. And like I said, if you guys missed last week, and actually I think it's been a few weeks, but I'm gonna keep extending these tier 3 and tier 4 beyond their 3-month markers, even though they're getting close to being done. So I'm supplementing them with fresh bedding, adding it in here, keeping them lots of great food that's staying fresh and not getting stale. And we add the grit, we're keeping them nice and comfy. So feel good. All right, so we're gonna keep it on here. So I'm gonna bring our next tier up, which is our tier 3. And let's see. they were in the same situation as tier 4, so it's going to be kind of a rinse repeat. Mostly we just need to check and make sure that they finished all of their previous food, be it, you know, the watermelon or some of the other stuff they've been fed. Like this is, I don't mind if they have paper towels and stuff. Like I'm not worried about that. I'm more concerned about the human food that's the attractive stuff to the bugs. Although I suppose a lot of this is attractive. Okay, I see a lot of worms. Don't see any food, so I know they're doing good. So I like this back right corner over here. It doesn't look super populated. There's definitely some worms, but not huge population because I want them to move about the bin still. And so we're gonna do the same thing, the same kind of setup. So I'll show you. I have like a dates container that I just line with paper towels, and this one got like blueberries, banana peels, some berries. Just get some good stuff in there. And I did not put paper towels immediately down. As I was dumping it, I realized, yep, we forgot that step. So put some on here. I'm not super worried about it. I think they're gonna find it pretty quickly, but we'll just kind of nudge some of the existing compost on top just to help cover a little bit. And then I obviously had paper in from last week's watermelon feeding, but given that we're adding a substantially frozen moist, or frozen wet, previously frozen, very wet food group that we're feeding this week, I'm going to add a little bit more bedding, just trying to be preventative, keep the food safe, or as safe as possible, which is pretty great. So, let's see, that finishes that. Oh, you know what, we forgot. They need their tea bag, and they need their phone. I feel like it's a little light-handed on that. We'll let that bust through. When they roam around in the fall, they can eat it. They cannot eat it, they can eat around it. The cornmeal is pretty tiny, so I'm not really worried about grinding it up further for them, personally. And then we'll put our top tier back on here, and then we'll do our renter mess check-in. See how we did today. All right, so I'll show you guys. All right, renter mess check-in. We got one worm in 3 piles of dirt. So we'll just pick them up and put them in one of the working tiers. So we'll see how those containers worked out. I'll probably rinse them, and then honestly I might stick them back in the freezer empty how they are, or use them to be refilled. I really like how easy it was to feed them, and that's another kind of easy gauge, you know, like our toilet paper method, to help kind of keep track of loosely how much food you're feeding them, so you're not just randomly dumping stuff in there. Plus, you can freeze it and ahead of time and make it easy for yourself. Just an idea. This is a great check-in. I mean, I had little doubt that the watermelon rinds would be a problem. It's like pretty much worm crack as far as I can tell, but you never know. So thanks for checking in with me. Feeling really good about the progress and momentum we've made so far in the health of the worm bin, with it being like our 1 year kind of hot frog composting anniversary. I thought about doing an additional video of like a state of the box, but I mean, we kind of do that every week where we check on everything and just kind of make sure everything's safe and healthy and bug-ish free. And so I don't think we really need to do that. If you guys want to see what I learned in my first year of vermicomposting, you do not need to have a hot frog for any of these tips to apply, in my opinion. That is also in the usual playlist where you can find it. So I encourage you to check that out. I think a lot of people probably would find it helpful, I know past me would have found it helpful, thus why I made it. So until next week, thanks for watching, guys.